then you don't know how the NFL works and how their schedule works. You're a dick, Leon. Oh my God. Leon, you're a jerk. On a Friday, way to lighten it up, kid. You're my boy, man. We're good. Leon, we're good, man. Fucking with Big Sills seems to be a habit around here now. Hey, wait a minute. So you're torching me up, Leon? All right. Son of a B. Good God. I'm starting to sound like Johnny Mac now. How you doing? All right. You got me, Leon, you son of a B. Hey, Leon, unlike Senor, take a lap. You get the victory lap. Go ahead, man. Had the Sills. All right. Hey, Leon, take a victory lap, kid. Okay, go ahead. Anyway, Jesus criminy. You got me good on that one. Sills, I'm fucking with you. Oh, my God. Busting Big Sills balls. Like no group can. Nobody does that except the folks here at JAKIB and the folks around the Philly area and who watches the show. With all that being said, holy shit, is this a good content? Look at this thing here. I don't even know who the frig these people are, this Philly. I'm going to start calling this thing the Philly No Voice because I've never heard of them. But hey, all right. I'm sure there's quality people here. I don't know them from a can of paint. Let me guess. Harry Mays works here. I don't know. Anyway, with all that being said, the man who runs Birds 365 with Big Johnny Mac comes up with great content. Without a doubt, one of the best family men around, our good friend, Zander Krause.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
These guys are busting my balls here, man. I do love Philly. Abe, my favorite city I've ever talked sports in.
They're not busting your balls, are they?
Oh, really?
Well, you bust their balls, they bust the little balls back. Welcome to the city of brotherly love.
I get it, Junior. Holy shit here, man. All right. So, Xander, I'm going to play a little game with your hair towel. All right? Buckle up, Junior. Now, look. Let me do this again, folks. Watch me. I got my hands up. This ain't Big Sills list. I didn't put this.
Here you go again.
I didn't do this.
Guilty by association.
I don't know what the fuck's going. I didn't do this here. All right. So let's go down this list here. There's pretty good. Actually, it's really good questions. Number one, and I love the headline in a way. I mean, I won't lie. This is what attracted me to it. I didn't even know who these folks are. 10 reasons the Eagles will have a dumpster fire.
Yeah, he does it for every team. It's Jimmy. Yeah, he does it for every team.
Hey, but by the way, let me say this to you. Are you shocked that would attract me?
No. Why would I be shocked at that?
All right. So, look, there's Nick Sirianni's face there. Holy cow, there he is. Johnny Cheerleader. All right, here we go. Here's number one. The Eagles put a lot of mileage on Saquon Barkley. I didn't realize this, Xander. Check it out. Including the playoffs, Barkley got an astounding 482 touches in 24. That was the third highest number of touches since 2020. There have been 17 players who've had north of 430 touches in a single season during that span. And here are those players. Only 3 players in 25 years have had better seasons following over 430 or more carries. Now, I think the asterisk and the caveat is this. I don't think any one of these players have ever had the O-line that the Eagles have had. And I will say this, that the Eagles O-line is the best O-line since 2000. There's no doubt, okay? But what do you make of that? I mean, is he right with this concern here with the amount of carries? This guy's often injured in his last 5 years. He's been injured 4 times. I mean, do you get concerned with that?
Well, those stats certainly tell a story, but those stats don't account for Saquon Barkley.
I don't think those are stats. That's actual production. Those are production numbers.
Well, they're stats.
Okay, well, if I hand you the ball 480 times in a game, you call that a stat. I call that workload.
Yeah, but you're talking about yards per carry. That's a stat.
I'm talking about north of 430 carries, more
Yeah,
so
and the yards
than
per
just the
carry went
stats.
down.
And they're right. Their production went down.
Right, yards per carry is a stat, but all right, it's fine. We're splitting hairs. Saquon Barkley is a rare breed, though. There are certain people,
In
certain
Philly, he's a rare breed. He wasn't in New York, but in
he's
Philly,
a rare breed at the NFL level.
he wasn't in New York.
Well, no running back can play without an offensive line. I mean,
I got it, but that's a part of his story, though, too, Zander.
I didn't say it wasn't part of his story.
He's
You know what else is part of his story? The Eagles' offensive line now. And that's a part of the story.
In Philly, he has been, correct. But in his history, he hasn't been. He just, I mean, that's what it is. I mean,
Saquon Barkley is uncommon.
In Philly.
Sure.
Okay, right. And prior to that, his years in New York cost him years because of injuries. Okay.
Well,
now you're going to be adding, are you going to add less than 430 carries? Or are you going to go over that number this year?
I think under. I think you go under a little bit this year. I don't think they need to run him as much as they did last year. But I don't think it comes down much. I mean, if you're including the 4 playoff games, you're probably looking at 400, 350 to 400.
I'm telling you, you're right on one thing. Why the fuck do you got A.J. Brown? I mean, get that fucker more. Again, he's got to be healthy. I understood last year. Now, let me ask you this. If AJ was healthy, do you think Barkley has 482?
Healthy from the start?
Yeah, healthy all year. Say he's
maybe,
healthy.
Maybe not because, when AJ was out, that's when the passing game struggled. And when the passing game struggled, that's when they realized they wanted to run the ball a lot. So it's hard to say that because maybe if AJ's there every game, maybe the passing game doesn't struggle as much. Maybe they never switch to the run. Maybe it's a more balanced approach all throughout the year. I mean, it's tough to kind of make that scenario happen because of all the variables. But maybe. I mean, look, you do have AJ Brown, but AJ got 1,100 last year, missing 4 games. Like, I wanted him to get the ball more, but I can live with that. I mean, if he plays those 4 games and he gets 70 yards a game, he's up to 1,300, 1,350. I mean, I can't complain too much about that.
See, I don't mind if the yardage comes down. I don't want the yards per carry to come down.
Right.
Okay? That to me, because then he's still as productive as he was a year ago, Zander, right? I mean,
yeah, and I think the list that you're reading from showed all the running backs who went down in yards per carry, which is most of them.
Well, it's the guys who had 430 or more carries.
Yeah, but of that list of guys who went 430 or more carries, only 3 of them you said went up in yards per carry, right?
No, only 3 of them. Okay, yes, only 3 of them went up in yards per carry. Yes.
All the other ones went down or stayed.
All the other ones went down. And some of them not too bad. I mean, there's some of them here that went from 4.1 to 4.5. I don't know. I mean, that's not horrific. I mean, if you're telling me a guy goes from 4.6 to 4.5.
4.4 to 4.2, 4.7 to 4.5.
Yeah, you're in the room still. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree.
Okay, here's another one. So, I mean, I would think that, that's something to watch this year. I didn't know this about Jalen Carter. Now, this has to be the postseason. They also put a lot of mileage on Jalen Carter.
Yeah, they did.
Jalen Carter had 1,027 snaps. Only Zach Allen of the Broncos had 1,031. And Kobe Turner of the Rams was the third guy. And he had 100 snaps less at 919. I mean, dude, you've got to get more production out of Jordan Davis. I mean, Jalen Carter had almost 1,030 snaps last year, counting the postseason. Are you putting too much on him with new dudes around him?
I mean, he was 23 last year. I mean, it's a lot, don't get me wrong, but it's not to the point where I'm like, uh-oh, I mean, look, when you're 20, 26, 27, 28, 29, yeah, you're going to start to scale back. He's not going to play 95 or 98 or whatever the percentage of snaps was, but I'm not worried about last year. I think it worked out last year. He's obviously an unbelievable football player. And the most remarkable part about it was he played his best football in the playoffs. I mean, it's unbelievable what the guy did in the playoffs, considering how many snaps he played. So I'm not worried about that. I mean, I hear him. I don't think it's something you can do forever. But right now, yeah. I mean, you got Jalen Carter. at this age, playing like this. I'm keeping them on the football field too.
Don't you think, though, with a lot of new faces, you're going to see less or more double teams?
On Jalen?
Yeah.
More, probably.
You're going to get more double teams on him.
Which means Jordan Davis, Moro Ajomo, Nolan, J-Looks, they all got to capitalize on their man because they're going to have one-on-one.
Those guys you signed?
Yep. They're going to have one-on-one. Remember, Milton thrived against one-on-one last year. You got to thrive on one-on-ones.
I wrote this number down here because we added this up here. And check this out. You're losing over 4,167 snaps on defense between Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Darius Slay, Gardner Johnson, Oren Burks, and Isaiah Rodgers. Milton had 629. Sweat had 775. Slay had almost 900, 898. Bro, I can't believe CJ played this amount of games, 1,119 snaps.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Brandon Graham had 311. Burks had 322. And Isaiah Rodgers had 412. That comes out to 4,167 snaps. And in total, if you put also Mekhi Becton out there with his snaps of 1,164, you now off that football team have lost 5,660 snaps. And especially on defense, Zander, those 4,167 snaps were on the number one defensive football team in pro football. So you think you're getting, let's do this here, Milton Williams. You believe that Moro Jomo is going to give you 700 snaps?
I think he's going to have to, but I feel good. I'm sorry. I get it. I get the whole premise here, but my take is that there's guys developing and that are growing as players. Okay. And in order for this team to work the way that they're built, especially on defense, let's be real. They're either going to pan out and we're going to have a great year, or they're not and we're going to stink. And that's how this defense is built. Look at 23. Guys didn't pan out, didn't work. So,
I don't think you're going to stink. I
don't think you're going to stink. My point is you're not going to be a contender if those guys don't pan out. But if they do pan out, you could have a year like you did last year where you're the number one defense in football. I'm betting that they pan out. I think they are. The Eagles have had really good drafts. They've had a really good success rate with players panning out. And I think it's going to work out in their favor this year.
See, when I see J-Lux Hunt, then I look at Josh Sweat, 775 in snaps. I don't see that. I don't see that guy in the field for over nearly 800 snaps. Do you?
I think he could be.
Wow. Boy, is that a lot. So Makuba and Sydney probably going to share that 900 snaps with Slay, right? Or no, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Gardner Johnson. So Makuba and Sydney are going to share the 1,119 snaps that CJ had, right?
Well, yeah, or Makuba could win them all. I don't know. That's a lot of snaps.
That's a lot of on the number. And remember, folks, you can say whatever you want about him in coverage. He still was on the number one defense and the number one pass defense in pro football. You can say,
but and I agree with you, but some of this is like just part of doing business. Like if you want to win a Super Bowl,
absolutely.
Yeah. Like remember the Chiefs? Like when the Chiefs won, you were like, man, they lost some dudes, man. They got rid of L'Jarius Sneed.
Remember they sucked first part of the year.
Yeah, right. So it's like this is kind of part of the game, which is why I said what I said a minute ago. If dudes pan out, the team's going to be in great shape. If the guys don't pan out, this system doesn't work. Like paying on offense and drafting on defense doesn't work if you don't have guys that eventually can play. So they need the guys to step up. But if they do step up, the upside is super high.
Don't you think there's a chance that this football team could maybe, I'm not saying you're 6-3 out of the gate. Say you're 6-3. And by the end of the season, though, Zander, you're playing like a 10-win team in the first 9 games. But at the back end, you're playing like a 14-win team. Could it be something like that where do you think that's what the Eagles are hoping? It's not so much about the record. It's more about how if they're improving.
Well, it's certainly
that Kansas City team that you referenced, dude, they were playing like a 9-win football team. They got in the Super Bowl against the 49ers. They looked like a 14-win team. They only won 11 games that year. They won as many games that year they beat the Niners as you guys did.
Well,
So, I mean,
it's the old Brady saying football starts after Thanksgiving. I mean, you got to play better late in the year. That's just a fact. Now, I don't know what they're going to look like early, but yeah, I don't think we need to sound any alarm bells early. I think the team is in good shape. They got good players. They got young, promising prospects at basically every position. And is there some question marks? Absolutely. But find me a team in the league that doesn't have a couple of question marks. And I think with the coaching, with the core that they have, with the players that are coming back and the championship pedigree that many of them have, by the way, at multiple levels, Devontae, Jalen, Landon Dickerson. You're talking about on the defensive side, you got the Georgia guys, you got Jalen Carter, you got even Keely Ringo coming in. Guy won a championship, guy had a pick six to win a national championship. You got championship pedigree players. So I think that's a big advantage. And that's why I think the mindset in the locker room right now seems everybody that talks, it seems like it's a great mindset right now in that locker room.
Okay, schedule now. I thought this was interesting. You're playing 6 teams this year that now, again, because of the amount of 18% turnover that you have each and every single team in the NFL, that's an average. I mean, it's like saying, hey, what do you believe that Ohio State's going to win the national title this year when they have a completely different roster and you're talking about juniors and sophomores stepping up? It's almost the same kind of mentality as that because you're not really bringing back, and for sure the Eagles are not bringing back the entire team. They're bringing back their pretty much offense intact, but they're not bringing their football team intact. They're just not. So it's kind of hard to apply that also. If I apply that to the Eagles, I've got to apply that to everyone else. So we're going to just use this as a metric because, again, I'm taking this article here. There's only 6 teams so far on the schedule that the Eagles will play in this year's schedule that was under 500. And in the first before the bye in week 9, there's not one team with 10 wins or less that you played, and there's 3 teams with losing records. The rest of them are like the Chiefs, Rams, Bucks, Broncos. And then in the back part of the schedule, how about this? From week 10 on, there's not one team that is below 11 wins. And there's only 1, 2, 3 teams in the final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. There's only 3 teams that are below 500. The rest of them are above 11 or more wins. Boy, this is a pretty tough schedule, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a big group of and again, remember what happened in 23. And people, I know Leon was busting my stones here, but in 23, Zander, that wore out the team, don't you think, when they were playing all those games in the middle of the season with the 49ers? You had the Bills in there. You had the Cowboys in there. You had a bunch of really good football teams.
There's no way to know for sure, but yeah, I don't think you're wrong in pointing to that. That was certainly something that happened in the year, and then they collapsed after it. But I don't know. They won all those games. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Bills. They beat everybody that year.
I know,
then they lost.
When they got to Seattle and the Giants and the Cardinals, they blew up.
They blew up.
And those teams were lesser. So I'm saying, like I said, this is going to come down to depth, don't you think? I mean, here's something to think about too. And I point this out. Don't you think it's an advantage? And it was an advantage for Tom Brady to play against the shittiest division in his entire career when he didn't have anybody in that AFC East for 20 years to worry about.
Yep.
They were always healthy. They were always good. They didn't have to worry about their division. They always had a home field playoff game. That's an advantage, okay, when you have that. I think the tougher schedule, I think, again, the way that they have been healthy and the way that they do business, I think it's the right thing. But what do you make of the schedule? I mean, the schedule's going to be a factor.
Yeah, it's going to be a factor. I mean, you got the Cowboys on there. I think they're going to be better. I think the Vikings, who had a lot of wins last year, take a step backward. I think the Lions, who had a lot of wins last year, take a step backward. I think the Bills are probably going to be what they're going to be. Commanders, I think, are going to be what they're going to be, probably as good or better than last year. I don't know what their record will be. So there's a couple teams who I think will regress, and then there's also teams I think who are getting better. I think the Cowboys will get better. I think the Broncos have gotten better. I think the Chargers have gotten better. I even think the Raiders got a little bit better. Now, I don't think they're a contender, but I think they got better.
Yeah, they did.
So, and the Bears got better. So there's a couple teams on there that I think did get better. And look, The one thing I don't like about schedule conversations, especially early in the year, is when you do them before the season starts, they're all based on the previous year.
I know.
Like after the bye week, people will base it on what the
Yeah.
record is in that given season. I think that's a far more important metric.
And the eyeball test.
Yes, because coming in, I mean, look, yes, they had a lot of wins last year, their opponents, but how many of these guys are going to be this good? Like, let's see what changes in the NFL. I mean, did anybody think the Commanders are going to win 12 games last year? No. So let's see what happens.
I thought they were going to win a lot of games. I was one of the only guys.
You did. You picked them early. That's what
I
was one of your only good picks last year.
I thought, and plus I said Jaden Daniels would be the rookie of the year, and he was, by the way. So let's go here. Let's go to the next one. I agree with you on that schedule talk. To me, it's all about eyeballs.
Yeah, remember, I got a hard out of 30.
What's that? Yeah, I got you, brother.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a shot that they start out slowly?
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, you got a new coordinator, new offensive coordinator coming in. He's been here, but he's new to the play calling. He's got to learn. I mean, I think Jalen and the offense is going to give him some time to figure things out. You got a bunch of new guys on the defensive side of the ball. I think it's possible they start a little slow. I don't think that's slow. I mean, you look at the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule. It's like, I think they win week 1 versus the Cowboys. I think they win week 2 versus the Chiefs because I don't think the Chiefs are going to be that great. I think week 3 and week 4 are going to be your toughest test of the first 4 weeks, where you got the Rams and the Bucks. Then you got the Broncos. I feel good about the 2 Giants games. I feel good about the Vikings game. Like, I think they're going to have some chances there to win games, even if they don't play their best football. And I also think the other teams are going to start slow as well. I mean, the Rams have a lot of new pieces. You know, what does that look like for them? The Chiefs, what does that look like early for them? The Buccaneers, I think they're probably in the best shape of the teams early in the year. Broncos, you know, they got new pieces. How will they put it together? So I feel all right. I mean, schedule's tough, but slow start could be inevitable. But as long as they're playing good post-Thanksgiving, I think it's all good. I learned my lesson. Last year after week 4, I was like, this team isn't going to be good. And I was wrong. I mean, you can't jump the gun too early. You got to let the season settle in.
Couple more here before you got to go here. Jalen Hurts has yet another new offensive coordinator. This is from the Philly Voice we're getting. 2020, Press Taylor. 2021, Shane Steichen. 2022, Shane Steichen. 23, Brian Johnson. 24, Kevin Patullo. 2025, Kellen Moore, excuse me. Then 2025, currently now, Kevin Patullo. You know, I'll say one thing about every one of these guys. Every single one of them are different. They're all different in their approach to the game. Every single one of these guys. You think that's a plus or a negative with all these changes for Jalen Hurts now?
Well, I think it's become less of a big deal because Jalen has learned how to deal with it a little bit more. When you're early in your career, I think you look at it and you're like, man, this is not good. But, I mean, we just won a Super Bowl with a first-year coordinator. Like, I hear you, but I can't really get myself to a point where I think it's going to be a big enough issue where it derails the team. You know, I mean, like, again, we just won a damn Super Bowl with a new offensive coordinator. So I feel okay about it. It's not ideal, but look, this is the nature of the beast when you win and you become, you know, one of the hottest franchises in the NFL, is that people want to pluck your staff. Look at the Howie's front office. I mean, how many guys have been plucked from his front office? The Raiders plucked 2 dudes from the front office this offseason. I mean, there's a bunch of GMs in the league right now who are from the Howie tree. So it's just what happens. If you don't figure out how to manage it, you're never going to be good again. So you got to learn how to manage it. It's a reality in their life, and I think they will learn how to manage it well.
Start slow, run Barkley. Barkley, I got you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Fredo, you're starting to win me over more and more. I think it might be another year of that, my friend.
I do too. And really, if you want to piggyback what you just said, Zander, Press Taylor, Brian Johnson,
yep.
Alex Tanay, Doug Nussmeier, and Scott Loeffler. Those are all also the quarterback coaches. So he's had not only the fact of having 6 coordinators, but he's also had numerous quarterback.
It's like the importance of it has plateaued in a way of diminishing value has plateaued, because it's like, at what point are you like, man, this is like a good thing? He's had so many different football minds. You know what I mean? He's used to the change. He's just adding perspectives, adding knowledge, adding different things that's, you know, helping his repertoire.
Last one, Jake Elliott. You think that'll be an issue this year?
I think it could be. I think it's something to watch. I'm not as sold. John thinks he's going to have a bounce back year, but I will say that, the long snapper was a little bit of an issue last year that kind of flew under the radar. He's gone now. They brought in a new guy. So we'll see, but I'm a little concerned about Jake Elliott.
Again, Justin Tucker's out there. Do you sign that guy and keep him there in the box? And then in case Jake Elliott ends up imploding?
It's not a bad call by you. I don't know what's going on with him. I know he's entrenched in some legal stuff, but look, like you always say, I'm not a moralist. I'm trying to win a football game here. Yeah.
Yeah, no charges have been charged against him. So again, Zander, I appreciate you, brother. You make sure you have one hell of a weekend with your family, man. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Just one super chat we'll read real quick. That Cowboys helmet's ugly as hell, Sills.
I'll tell you what, by week 1, it will be moved. How's that for you, all right?
All right, Sills. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great weekend. I appreciate each and every one of you. Sorry for the shorter segment today. I got some big boy things I got to get done, all right? For the good of the business, for the good of JAKIB Sports, for the good of Big Sills, for the good of all of you great people. I love you all. Have a great weekend. See you next time, everybody.
You got it, Z. We appreciate you. Make sure you check out Birds 365. Absolutely an awesome show. We're going to continue this, and then what I'm going to do, remember what I did yesterday, okay? Remember what I did yesterday. I looked at, who we look at? Keely Ringo, and we looked at Moro Ajomo. And I've got a scouting report, and we're going to do today, we are going to do Nolan Smith, and we are going to do Jalen Hunt. Now, some of you in here know the person that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, that's the senior executive of personnel for a respected football team. We'll do Jordan Davis next week, Abe. Okay? So we're going to do those two guys because edge is something that we've been concerned about. So just to finish this thing up, okay? Some of you do know where I get this from. Okay? Some of you guys do know where I get my intel from when it comes to respected teams. Do I think Jake Elliott will be an issue? I don't know. He was a year ago. There hasn't been a repeat NFC East champion since 2004. This is a crazy number. Look at this. Eagles, Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, Commanders, Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Cowboys, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles, 2020, Commanders. Commanders won the East in 20? Man, I forgot that. Cowboys, Eagles, to round out. There hasn't been a repeat winner in the NFC East in 21 years. That's crazy. Okay? That's crazy. And I think the Commanders are going to give the Eagles everything they want this year. By the way, I think this is pretty good. Are you going to get everyone's best this year? Is everybody going to pan out? I think this was a pretty good article, man. I think those are really great. Takeaways. Hit the like button, guys. All supers go to the top. You guys are awesome. So who do you want me to do first? Look how much topics I have still. Mark Farzetta will join us. That'll be at 4:30. Okay? All right. Who do you want to do first? Nolan Smith or Jalen Hunt? What do you want to do first? This is a scouting report from a different team and how they see your Eagle player. And some of you named the guy's name that I get my intel from. There's 3 general managers that have a book on your guys. And I'll tell you one of them. He's not in the league right now as GM. I used to get stuff from Mark Dominic, but I don't. He's a former Buccaneer general manager. I don't from him. But Tom Telesco was the former general manager of the Chargers, and also the Raiders. Okay? So do you want to do, let's do Jalix Hunt. Let's do Jalix Hunt first. Here is what